Hey guys, and welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. I'm Rod, your happy hippie, hanging out with you. I'm doing the Vinyl Tag 2019. Jam on Vinyl was kind enough to give me a tag, so it's going to be fun to do this little video. It's a series of questions. I'm sure everyone has seen these videos, but the first question was your best find of 2018. Without a doubt, mine would have to be the Beatles, the second album by the Beatles, and it's in really good shape. And it's my best find because I paid 99 cents for it at Goodwill. I was super stoked to pick this up for $1. So for $1, how could that not be my best find of 2018? The second question, or the second thing, is to give a shout out to the VC community. There's so many people. Channel 33, Mr. Hall of Fame. Those guys are masters. Tales from the Crate, Noble Records, Value Vinyl. Value Vinyl is very entertaining. I love watching that guy's videos. Melinda Murphy, very knowledgeable lady. The Big Yellow Rebel is another one. I'm forgetting some. The Omaha Introvert. So many fantastic. Jam on Vinyl. Just some Black Star. So many great video channels out there. There's no way to name them all. Anyway, that's who I dig and that's who I watch. The next question is holes you want to fill in your collection. I'm really trying to focus on rebuilding my Rolling Stones collection. I've said it several times before, but I had a huge record collection in the 80s up into the early 90s, and some circumstances happened and I lost my entire collection. I'd like to rebuild my Rolling Stone collection. I'm up to about 15 albums by them, but there's so many more I want. Also want to rebuild my blues collection, some Albert Collins I want to pick up. Also want to look at some metal. I never really got into hair metal, but there's an album. Ace Frehley's new solo album is one I want to buy. Also a band called Lucifer. They have a new album out. I think last year it came out, maybe the year before, but they do a remake of Dancing with Mr. D by the Stones. Or just some of the holes I'm going to fill. A cheap album that's really good, Melanie. You could pick up Melanie albums at Goodwill, at thrift stores, for like $1. And I really dig Melanie. She had some great little songs. Kind of I guess a singer-songwriter, female singer-songwriter, and she is wonderful. I absolutely love Melanie. Put some in your collection. You can buy them for $1 or $2, and if you're not familiar with her, check her out. She's really, really cool. Side projects. There's a lot of them. I'm thinking Kingfish, which is a side project, Bobby Weir did. But I went with Bobby and the Midnights. It's Bob Weir's little side project he did. Bobby and the Midnights from the Grateful Dead. Y'all know I love the Grateful Dead, so I'm going to check out any side project that one of their members took a part of. And an album that's outside of the box, man, I really thought about this one. But back in '79, Bob Dylan became a born-again Christian. And he released 3 albums. And this particular album was extremely outside of the box for him at that time. Excuse the glare. It's called Saved by Bob Dylan. It is obviously a Christian album. And the critics did not dig it. The sales weren't really that well. And I like it, man. It's got some great stuff on here. I dig Bob Dylan a lot. Even if you don't like the message, check the album out. It's got some great music on it. Bob Dylan, Saved. Definitely, I feel, was outside the box for everything he had done in his career. The last album that I bought this one after Christmas. Ozzy Osbourne, Memoirs of a Madman. double record set. It's got everything Ozzy did on it in his solo career. My brother gave me a gift card, a very generous gift card, and bought some groceries with it, and there was money left over on it, and I got Ozzy. Great album. The only thing I don't like on here is he does a duet with Kelly Osbourne, his daughter. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, you know, father-daughter duet, but that's the only song on here I really don't like. The rest is all his solo stuff. He does do a version of Paranoid, live version of Paranoid on here he did, and it's really great. So that's the last album that I picked up. Now we're supposed to do a good album with a bad cover. You know, this is a tough one. If you think about it, the White Album, it was so generic. That wasn't a good cover. It was just okay. So there's a lot of them I could think of, but I went with Rush. A dog about to take a leak on a fire hydrant does not strike me as a good cover. You know, he's about to relieve himself in a fire hydrant. The name of the album is Signals. Okay, I get it. The dog's sniffing around. He's giving off signals that he's about to, you know, he's about to pee on a fire hydrant. It's a wonderful album. Yeah, the cover I don't get. I mean, I get it. I don't like it. Anyway, a good album cover, and it's not really a good album. Uriah Heep. I like Uriah Heep. Demons and Wizards was a great album. This, however, was not one of their best albums. I don't know if they were trying to do a hair metal album or what, but it's a really cool cover, man. But I just don't like the album itself, in my opinion. And blues album, I went with Leadbelly. I know Jam on Vinyl went with Leadbelly too, but I've got to say I 100% agree with him. This is a kind of folky, bluesy album, just acoustical, I should say, not folky. And I first heard of Leadbelly way back at about 14. There's a Bob Dylan song where he talks about, hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you a song, and in that song he mentions Leadbelly. And I had to know who Leadbelly was, so I went to my public library and I checked out a Leadbelly record, and man, I just loved it. You know, this is not the record I checked out. I promise I took that one back years ago. Excuse the glare. But that's the blues album I picked out. Earworm. I didn't really comprehend the question at first, but I guess it's an album that either grows on you or it's catchy. You get it in your head, you can't get it out. You put it on for background music. Mine would be this album by The Police. My favorite Police album, Synchronicity. It's got a lot. In fact, cover to cover, it's just got some really great stuff on here by The Police. Put it on while I'm working around the house, chilling. That would be my earworm, The Police. Now, historical album. And for me, I'm going back to Bob Dylan because albums like this changed the course of music. You know, they just weren't singing about cars anymore and about that cute girl next door or surfing. And there's nothing wrong with those music. That's those songs, those topics. But Highway 61 by Bob Dylan, in my opinion, is a very historical album. And if you ever wanted to explain to somebody what Bob Dylan was all about, you give them that album and that's everything. An album you got from your parents. I don't have any of my parents' albums, and my parents weren't really big into music. My brother and sister were, and I thank my sister and brother so much for what they exposed me to. My sister exposed me to Led Zeppelin and Johnny Winter and Alice Cooper. My brother exposed me to the Beatles and the Beach Boys and people like that. But I do remember my mother listening to country music, and this guy in particular, Ray Price. And I bought this about a year or so ago at Goodwill. And it does remind me of my mother, because that's what she would have listened to. That's what she probably still will listen to. And a dollar fine. Hey, I was lucky enough. Not only did I get that Beatles album, second album, for $1, I got Derek and the Dominoes. And this is in really good condition. Double record set, Derek and the Dominoes. I don't have to tell you about this album. It's got Layla on it. It's for $1. What a bargain. I mean, I'd have been stupid to pass that one up. Best double album. Now, I could have went with the Derek and the Dominoes. The Grateful Dead, Steal Your Face, is one of my favorite doubles. But I'm going to say this is my favorite live album. Even though that question was not on there, I'm putting it in mine. Favorite live album ever, Steal Your Face, The Grateful Dead. As far as double albums, there's a lot of great ones like Bruce Springsteen. But right now, my favorite double album that I've been jamming to is Jimi Hendrix, Both Sides, can you see it? Both Sides of the Sky. This came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And my gosh, this is absolutely right now my favorite double album. And that may change. It probably will. You know, I thought about including the Beatles' White Album. I thought maybe that was a bit too cliche, but that is an incredible double album. And something you got turned on to by the VC community. And I got to throw this shout out to Mr. Hall of Fame. He had did a little segment of one of his videos where he mentioned Ted Nugent. And I kind of made a silly comment. And he's like, bro, check out some of his stuff, man. You ain't got to, believe his message about politics. You don't have to go out hunting with the dude. But just check out some of his early jams. And I did. Ted Nugent. And this is a really great album. Stranglehold, I know that may not be politically correct song right now. But there's some wonderful stuff on this album. And I gave it a chance. Mr. Hall of Fame said, give him a chance. And I've had this album before as a kid. I think I got it from my sister. It wasn't ever really mine. But I picked it up. And I've really enjoyed that album. And I'm not really a Ted Nugent fan. Now the next question was 7 inches and 10 inches. I went with a Rolling Stones 10-inch. It's on colored vinyl. And the song is Ride 'Em On Down, the Rolling Stones. Really neat little 10-inch record. I forget where I got this. I may have bought this online. I probably did. But anyway, that's the 10-inch that I chose to show. I've got a couple other 10 inches, like some Hank Sr. and stuff like that, but I chose to show this one. And the 7-inch is a white label promo of Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, There'd Be No Teardrops Tonight, radio promo. I've had this for years. I don't know how I've managed to hang on to it. I guess I'm just lucky that way. But some more 7 inches is The Survival of St. John. This one still has the little booklet with it. This was a rock opera. Came with a real cool little booklet. By Smoke Rise was the name of the project that put this on. And it was an off-Broadway play. Now the box it came in is just totally trashed. It's got some mildew in it. But the singles in it, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 singles are still in really good shape, even though their covers are not. And I bought this one not knowing what it was. I bought it from a guy about a year ago. He was, like I said, they're in really good shape. He was needing some money. He was trying to sell some stuff. He had this little box set of singles, and he had an old Walkman. And the Walkman, I noticed, had the dual headphone jack. And they only made the dual headphone jack the first year they came out with the Walkman, because they thought people weren't going to be into wearing headphones and excluding everyone else. Little did they know that's how our society was going to turn out. But anyway, I bought them both for $5. I sold the Walkman for like $75 on eBay because it's a very collectible piece. So if you ever find an old Walkman with a dual headphone jacks, buy it because they're worth, even if they don't work, people buy them for parts. Anyway, that's where I got those. I went home, I did some research on the survival of St. Joan. And I'm glad, for $5, man, I'm really glad I got both of those. I more than got my money back. And last but not least, we were supposed to give advice for people who want to start videos. Man, just do it. It doesn't matter if your taste is the same or somebody else's or different than somebody else's. If you don't have a very big record collection, it don't matter what you're into, man. If you want to make videos about vinyl, just do it. Someone out there is going to dig it. They're a lot of fun to do. Reach out to people. I reached out to Channel 33, chatted with a guy from Noble Records a couple times. Just reach out to people about the videos. Make videos that you like, about music you like. And enjoy yourself. Guys, I hope everyone has a great year ahead of us. I hope we all find music that we really dig for cheap prices. Willie Nelson, I want to say, I heard someone else say albums they like to fall asleep to. And I'm putting this one in for an album I like to. Man, I put this on for nap time and I could just drift off. No offense to Willie Nelson, he's a great songwriter, but this is a very easy listening album. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling, but I always do. Y'all be good. Be true to yourselves, man. Peace.